The hell is that thing?
What thing?
That thing.
Oh, that's my thing.
There's no carburetor on it.
That makes it better, Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Junkyard Digs. Today I am joined by Wyatt and his 97 Mustang Cobra. That's right, we're throwing a wrench into everything and doing something totally different today and building a budget-oriented corner carving car with main components sourced from the junkyard.
That's right.
Let's do it. All right, Wyatt, so you brought your car all the way up to central Iowa from southern Iowa. Tell us what we have here.
So obviously, my 97 SVT Cobra Mustang. I've got some work done to the engine. I'm not gonna pop the hook because I got some vacuum lines I need to do. Sorry, it's dirty. I don't have an enclosed garage for it to sit in.
Maybe, here's the revival part, we'll wash it. Wow.
We'll throw it out in the snow and let the snow melt off.
Yeah, big snowstorm going outside today.
T56 6-speed swaps, C-heads out of a Terminator Cobra, Terminator Cobra seats. It's currently got 410 gears and a solid rear axle. Unfortunately, the rear axle is on its last leg. Burnouts, spirited driving. The whining is actually louder than the exhaust note, guys. So that is why I am doing this.
But you're not just doing any axle swap, we're going full on.
We're coming to the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen.
God damn. With this.
This is an independent rear suspension out of a 1999 Ford Mustang Cobra.
So, not the 21st century.
Well, it was designed for the 21st century.
Updating this 20th century car all the way to slightly later in the 20th century.
This unit here is actually out of a junkyard. This suspension was initially slated to go into a 69 Fastback. I bought it from a guy that was going to put it in that, but the company that made the retrofit kit for this rear axle went out of business and he couldn't get parts for it anymore, so he said, screw it, I want it gone. I said, I will give you $500. And he said, come and get it. And I said, yes.
So, to explain why the hell this car's up here, we need to backpedal a little bit. Wyatt called me up a month ago or so, said, hey, can I borrow your lift for a weekend? I gotta do this IRS swap. I said, dude, absolutely. In fact, it's about time I gave back to all the friends that have helped me throughout all the years. You've helped us a lot with all the diesel stuff, and just we've been hanging out for a long time, blah, blah, blah. So it's about time I give back to those that have given so much to me. Go online, fill out a cart on our new sponsor's website, and I'll see what happens. And that's exactly what he did. He hopped online, filled out a cart, we got in touch with the new sponsor, and they sent everything over. And that sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce is none other than the Summit Racing Equipment. That's right, we scored a Summit Racing sponsor for 2022, which is gonna allow us to bring just the craziest damn builds to life. So huge thank you for these guys, for everything they've done, and for everything they're going to do for the next year. This is a peak in life right now. I am on cloud 9. But it doesn't stop there, because I thought, you know what? If we're going this far, let's go all out. And we made a couple more phone calls, and a couple of our favorites came through with their best. Wyatt, I present to you a big old pile of parts from the fabulous Summit Racing, the fabulous QA1 suspension, and the awesome and local Quick Performance. That's right. We brought everyone on board here, and this is going to be an absolute, just insane pile of parts that we've got for this car to build ourselves. Kind of a 90s sleeper. Like, yeah, it is a Cobra, but you don't know what's under it. And now there's probably people in the comments saying, okay, well, you just said this was a budget-oriented junkyard build. That right there, like I said, $500 for the independent rear suspension. That's huge. And with that, the parts we do have are just supporting mods to make that happen. We have a Borla exhaust that's required for the IRS. We have new brakes from Summit Racing. QA1 sent us a set of shocks for just the rear. Quick Performance gave us a budget set of gears for this car. So we're still not breaking the bank, even if we had spent all of this outright. We could talk about them all day, or we could just start digging into this thing and build ourselves one hell of a 97 Cobra. What do you say?
I think let's get started.
It does sound pretty good.
You want me to give a quick rev to scare everyone in the neighborhood?
Yeah, hang on, let me just go ahead. God damn!
I've done some engine work, it's not stock.
Matt's over there like, what the hell was that? All right, we're in the stables. The best of the stables at that. Thank you, Ben Pack. This beautiful glorious lift. Oh my God, I let it get dusty. What's wrong with me? Is that a wine voucher from Summit?
Yeah. Hey, guys, that's another thing. I have ordered from Summit before. They don't only think about their customers, they think about their customers' wives. My wife loves these. My wife loves wine.
I get it now.
See? She can't be mad when she gets a $100 voucher for wine.
Mook only drinks whiskey. Now you get us a whiskey voucher. Ideally, we would have had a parking lot or something to like test it before after, but it snowed like 3 inches, so he'll get stuffed the second he goes out the door. We're actually worried about getting it on a trailer at the end of all this.
Yeah, that is a big concern. When I get this up in the air, I'll show you guys the rear tires on this and explain why I will not be able to move in the snow.
If you do want to see us running this car, you have the opportunity to do it in person though. Next summer, sometime around July, I think, there's the Street Machine Summer Nationals in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're going to be up there with this car at the QA1 booth. Come check it out. We're going to be running this sucker on the autocross. That is our overall goal here, is to build this car way preemptively for next summer's event, because I know how this goes. It might not be done in time. We have 3 days to finish all of this.
Theoretically, it should go good, but we're also
at my shop, so theory gets thrown out the window. Well, it's like, oh, I'll have this shit done by the afternoon. I'm like, well, if I touch the camera, it's gonna be 4 days.
What was it? It was the Oldsmobile your dad has.
Yep.
It took me a day and a half to do a water pump.
Yep.
Because of camera.
Yep.
YouTube.
It's mind-boggling how much longer. Okay, we're talking too much. Let's get this shit going.
Yeah, that's like putting a $10 saddle on a $2 horse, guys. Damn.
So this one is this and the Eaton are 2 items we definitely spent more money than we needed to on. They are the only 2 items we spent more than the bottom dollar on. We could have got stock replacement or single adjustable, but we decided to go all the way up to double adjustable, because if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
And actually, this is another thing I'm gonna put in. This stuff was not a necessity. I would have gone with a newer shock, which I would have gone through QA1 on. They are amazing shocks. We are actually doing a coil over shock conversion on this and getting rid of the coil springs and the spring buckets and going to a straight coil over setup on this car.
So yeah, kind of 2 bullets with 1 duck. What?
Did you just...
2 birds with 1 stone?
There you go.
We were kind of up late working on the snowplow that never worked out. Not where I'm supposed to be up here today. That'll probably be fun. The other place we went above and beyond was with this Eaton True Track differential. That comes with an LSD in it already, right?
Yeah, those all Cobras came factory with a clutch style limited slip on those. The earlier Cobras, like I said, this is a 99 IRS, so it's not the most desirable IRS. That's why it was a $500 junkyard piece. Now, over time, those clutches wear out and your posi traction that you got from the factory turns into an open diff, and it is sad. You can take them apart, put clutches in it, and then depending on how you drive, 15 to 50,000 miles later, you're back to an open differential again. This amazing thing is a gear style. I know how they work. I don't know how to appropriately describe how they work. I don't want to...
They're magic.
They are magic. They are amazing.
I have one in the Le Mans, and I have never seen a better posi traction unit. You put the pedal down, both tires turn into smoke every single time, no matter how sideways or fast you're going. It's great. So yeah, the Quick Performance sells these. They are probably, arguably, one of the least expensive dealers for both this and all the parts they make and gears. They are an all-in-one axle performance location. They will do everything, to the point where you put in your order, you'll get a full 9-inch axle or 8.8 components, whatever you want will all show up together, and you just plug and play. Were you like sniffing the markers right after you opened them, or what is that?
It's a ring gear.
Man, that drawing turned out way better than I anticipated.
Dude.
You'd think it was real.
Let's see, we got some mass too.
All right, are you ready to talk some tech, sir?
Sure.
We've gone all the way to the store and got some fresh markers for us to
sniff.
No, draw with. We're gonna display this the best we can, so we only have to do one of these videos once and refer back to it. So we're gonna go all ham here and tell you guys everything you need to know about rear gears.
I've only done this twice before in the past, so I will do my best to explain it the best I can.
Everything we know about rear gears. How's that?
I'm going to be referring to these 2 manuals that come with your differential that you purchase and your installation instructions. This is something you need to sit down and read. You will save yourself so much headache in the future. Now, Getting to tap. When you are getting ready to disassemble your differential assembly, carrier, whatever you want to call it, you need to take and measure the backlash that you have already.
What? You're doing what?
I'm putting gloves on so I can keep my hands from smelling like sulfur, because if
Okay,
you guys,
that one's fair.
If anyone's ever had a differential apart, you know.
Yeah, they stinky. They stank.
So what you're doing with backlash here is you're measuring the distance. Hold up, I'm on the wrong side here. Yep, there it goes. You're measuring the take up and distance between the teeth on the ring gear and the pinion. So you'll get a side-to-side motion between the gear cut here.
So step one.
Step one.
Take your ring gear.
Take your ring gear.
Installed.
Installed. You make sure your pinion is locked in a position where it cannot move. You do not want your pinion to move. To which you will come over here. You will zero your gauge.
We're going to get one of these gauges.
You can get most of these gauges at a...
Pretty sure Summit's got them.
I'm pretty sure Summit can get them, yeah.
Yeah, by the time we're done with the tools you're going to need for this, it'll be over $100, and that's free shipping. So just get it all from Summit.
Yep.
This is a Fowler gauge, if anyone's curious.
Yep. And then, like I said, you will lock your pinion to where it cannot move. And then you'll adjust or swing your ring gear back and forth.
It's literally moving it like this, although it's much more minute, and you can't quite tell. What are we seeing for backlash?
I'm seeing about 13 to 14 thousandths of backlash. We're going to take and measure this in 2 other positions, and the reason they want you to check in 3 positions is to check for run out. And another thing we can do as soon as I get this done, after I check the here, and here, I will take and put the dial indicator back on this side of the ring gear, and I will spin the pinion, and I will watch the...
For run out.
For run out.
Now, run out's basically, imagine a wobble.
Yep.
A bent rim.
Yep.
It's a very, very extreme.
Imagine someone took a sledgehammer and just beat this on this side.
And it twisted
and
the
it
hole.
twisted it a little bit. That will cause odd vibrations, oscillations in your drivetrain. You will run into a lot of NVH concerns and possibly even wear concerns if you don't check stuff like that.
Anyone in the manufacturing industry that just heard us say run out 7 times is probably having a heart attack right now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So our second measurement is pretty close to within 1,000.
It's about the same.
Yep.
Sweet. So we got good stuff to start with. A little loose, but we can fix that.
Yep. That's just adjusting the carrier, and everything should be fairly straightforward from there.
So if you guys are really confused about what we're saying right now, you can do all sorts of Googling to figure this out. Or if you're not so much of a Google person, you like to sit down and read a book like I do. That's how I learn most of my stuff, by the way. There's a good book for this. It's the SA Design Performance How-To Series, SA 170. Differentials, axles, and driveline. This is a great book to sit down and learn all of what we're talking about to a much more in-depth version than what we can fit in a simple hour of YouTube video. I mean, there is math, wear patterns, you name it in here. A whole bunch of everything. It's the very, very extended version of these.
Those are very good reference points specific to the application you are using. That is a good generalization and an understanding of how the base systems work.
All right, our 3 points are checked. It's time for run out, correct?
That is time for run out.
We are now on the back of the ring gear. We're going to test the wiggleness.
So I'm going to spin this over. And understand it's going to wiggle around a little bit, because there may be some trash on the gear face. So we're looking so far at about 3-ish thousandths of run out.
That's pretty damn good, right?
It's not bad, not good.
So if our run out's bad, is there anything you can do to change that?
So I had actually just watched a video on how to correct stuff like this. Depending on why or how your ring gear is damaged, it may end up being, like you said, a manufacturing defect. It may end up being you did a clutch dump and you broke an axle because you were wheel hopping, or you chipped a gear on your ring gear.
And something got torqued.
Something got torqued. Sometimes, and I hate to say it, if you run into a situation where you're running into 5 to 6 thousandths of run out or 4 thousandths of run out, I mean, that's kind of on the edge of probably too much.
Yeah.
Probably a little too much. you're running into a situation where you're most likely going to be replacing your ring gear and or your carrier, because it will actually warp your carrier.
What's next?
Well, at this point, I need to mark my caps and verify which one is where and which way they point, because these are not interchangeable. Look at these and think main bearings on your engine. If these are misplaced or installed incorrectly, you run the risk of
the big sad,
because you run the risk of collapsing or distorting your races on the bearings and actually destroying your bearings shortly after putting it together.
Heck. Okay, so you're gonna mark our caps and we're ready to start disassembly, correct?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, great autocross weather. I'm glad we're putting this IRS in.
Oh, definitely the best.
So what Wyatt's done is he's came and he's marked the tops with a punch on each side, nice and gentle.
And then this side, I marked a vertical score just to verify side to side.
Yeah, so he's differentiated the top of each one and left and right. You torque it the same way, right?
Ugga dugga.
Ooh. Oh, that stinks.
Oh,
You get to that nice heat-treated sulfur that's been sealed for 30 years.
You know how, like, whenever you crack a bolt loose on an engine, it stinks?
Yeah, this one's extra stank.
This one. Oh. So what I am doing here is, if you look, you've got carrier, inside is the bearing, the race. What's that, ladies and gentlemen? That's the shim. You want to make sure when you pull these shims that the left stays on the left and the right stays on the right, because if you swap them,
Sadness.
you have shifted your carrier either way. Understandably, we know we have a run out issue or a lash issue. It doesn't necessarily matter, but for testing, when we put the new carrier in, this will give us a baseline to go off of. And then from there, we can take and put in the appropriate shims that are supplied in the installation kits, and sometimes, depending on your gears, with the gear sets. After some colorful language,
Red, blue, yellow.
our carrier is freed.
So these are your shims, correct?
Those are the shims.
So these sit. Let's before we tear this any further apart, let's talk science. You have, pull that out of the way, your case wall.
Yes.
Here. So like I had mentioned earlier, we are intending this video to be a very in-depth version of how to set up your rear axle. Well, if you've seen anything on this channel before, you know anything I do rarely goes to plan. Between the ongoing snowstorm dropping a foot of snow on us, and the sudden realization we only had half the tools we needed to properly assemble this rear axle, we actually ended up having Quick Performance assemble it for us. Either way, I think we still have enough here to teach you guys a thing or two about rear axles, and more importantly, what's inside if you open yours. With that being said, once we got this axle apart, I had a better understanding of what I was looking at, so I had set to work with the whiteboard to show you guys the importance of these shims and other internal components and how they interact with each other. Let's look at that now. Okay, so axles. They're crazy, man. No, they're not that bad. Let's go through what we got going on here. These large blocks here and here are your case. So this is your whole housing. Imagine, now just forget about this for right now. We're looking at straight in from the back. Here are your caps. Ignore this. Here's your case. Starting on the outside, you have your axle, then your case bearing. We did not pull these out for this video. Here you have your shims. They're going to sit between your case wall and your bearing race. Then your bearing, your ring gear, your carrier, all of its inner components, be it open or not, and then a repeat process on the other side. Now, the reason I have this all drawn up is to explain to you how backlash is set. This carrier has the ring gear bolted to it. These are together. These bearings are pressed onto each snub of the carrier. So this is all in one piece that can move left or right. And it's going to move left and right by changing the thickness of these shims, moving this bearing race further or closer to the wall of our case. And that's going to give us our whole left to right lateral movement by changing those shims. So hopefully you guys understand that now. And this is why Wyatt was saying the caps are so important, because these bearing races need to be in their own caps so nothing gets walked around and burned up or la-di-da-di-da. These caps are made concentric to each side of the case and machined in such a manner. Now we're going to flip everything 90 degrees and look at our pinion. This is looking from above essentially now. We're going to look at our pinion and talk about pinion depth. This is the front of our car. Down here we've got our nut, yoke, pinion, seal, bearing, race case, crush washer, race, bearing, shims, and pinion head. Once again, based off the position of this case and the position of this race, which will sit right, let me just, boop, all right. Okay, now it's fixed, we're good. This race, again, is going to sit down here in this case. It's going to have the bearing in it. This crush washer will actually float somewhere around in the middle, but we're going to be changing the depth or distance the back face of our pinion is from the case. And once again, we're going to be doing that using shims. So imagine again, this race is right here in this square. And the bearing is sitting inside the race in this square. This head is right down, right next to the surface of our case. And the more shims we add, if you want to be a shim, Wyatt.
I'll be a shim.
The more shims we add, the further that pinion head is going to be from the case. And that's going to set our depth into the ring gear. These two will engage, obviously. So, there you go. It's all about the shims. You got shims located here and here, which control your lateral movement in your carrier, and shims located here, which control your depth of your pinion or distance into this gear. So yeah, this is a total exploded view of an axle. I didn't really understand everything until, this is the first time I've ever done the axle stuff. I always just replaced them, like I said, or we didn't have enough time for me to actually sit down and learn through it. Now I know how it works, and hopefully me drawing this out and explaining it to you guys brought you along for the ride, and everyone learned something here today. Let's go put yours together, get it in the car, stop talking tech, and start turning wrenches.
Yeah, we got a deadline, and we're already halfway through the second or third day, and I haven't.
Told you.
Yeah, this is.
I told you, dude.
That camera
7
makes
days.
things 4 times harder than it needs to be.
14, what'll I get? Ooh, there's a droplet.
It was right after this we realized exactly how short we were starting to become on time due to some unforeseen circumstances, so we decided to take the safe route and had Quick Performance build our center for us while we focused on all the stuff that was left on the rest of the car. With this being said, a huge thank you to the guys at Quick Performance who got this done on a Saturday afternoon during a snowstorm. They completely saved our asses on this video, and we could have never done it without them.
All right, it's time to change gears
And that went terrible. No, we're gonna
and do ourselves a rear axle. One thing we do want to point out, this is a limited slip car.
Yeah.
And remember how we said that we had the budget option to use what's in it, or we actually spent the extra money above the junkyard level swap and changed to a different center? Mm-hmm. This is kind of why.
I should not be able to spin these wheels of opposing directions.
Carl.
The clutches and this differential are junk. They are wore out.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to turn them with a limited slip, but not this easy. I'm talking like almost effortless. So that's jabunk. And if we put an Eaton True Track in, it won't be jabunk.
Yep.
So next step is put an IRS in this. Hey, this is Carl, by the way, everyone.
Everybody.
He's kind of been in the background this whole time.
Yep, hiding.
Long-time friend of mine who we found a chance, like, hey, we could use a big guy for dropping an axle. Now that side note's out of the way, we need to pull shocks, we need to pull brake lines, we need to pull lower and upper mounts, and we need to get this axle out of this car. This is pretty straightforward stuff.
Cobra. Hey, Snake.
That's why we got the big guy.
We're good. Hey, those are my $30 wheels. I don't like them. Go ahead and do that. Oh, side note. I'm going to step in here. If anyone has 94 to 98 Celine Speedline Le Mans wheels.
Here's a picture.
That are staggered. They have to be Italian cast. Get a hold of me at wrenchingwithwyatt@gmail.com. I want these specific wheels.
Did you know
Thank you.
that, man?
All I heard was it's slower than that body.
At least my passengers can ride in comfort.
I don't care how many friends.
Everyone heads up. This may pop. Yep.
Good.
All right.
Watch your heads.
Good
Your
cheese.
asses.
Oh, no, that's not supposed to be loose. Huh. This is also a good point.
You almost died!
But nutting and bolting your car, just going underneath of it and doing preventive maintenance like that can save you and other motorists.
Remember, you're not the only idiot on the road. Sometimes there's other idiots out there that your idiot ass will hit and kill if you don't take care of your own stuff. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll be fine. So what? I was just like, who cares if I wreck my car? You might kill somebody. It's your responsibility to make sure your vehicles are road ready and you're not driving around with bald ass tires and stuff, putting people in danger.
Think of the children.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of finishing up taking the exhaust out. I've got two 10 mil bolts I got to pull here from my hangers, and maybe two more. But the exhaust should be coming out in mere moments if our cameraman wouldn't kill us all.
Meanwhile, our axle is ready to pull. For the most part, we got all of our forward mounts loosened. We're going to wait to drop the car on the ground, take the weight off, punch the bolts out, lift the car up without an axle. Wyatt sucks.
Wyatt sucks. It does sound good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Would you stop trying to
You know
blow us
what?
up?
Fine.
Oh.
Oh,
Cream!
That's 91.
Oh no!
While Wyatt went to drop off the center section to Quick Performance to be assembled, Carl and I were left unsupervised with the task of removing the axle.
My God, this is the oldest thing I've ever seen in my life.
What is it?
It's an old Diablo Sport.
Holy
shit.
cow. Is that a collector item or is that what he's tuning
It's a
with?
You know, that's why it runs like boo. No, I'm just kidding. That's a classic,
Dude, that
man.
thing's a carbureted tuner. The answer is grab this boot as hard as you can. A little more. There we go. Alright, make sure we keep these for any future projects.
Hey, another Mustang. Like a power creeper.
Insert the Kevin O-Matic. It will take out all your remaining bolts.
Yes, boss. Oh, okay.
There we go. Here's our solid axle out. It's time to start prepping for our IRS to go in.
Winding chains. Crowds.
So as described earlier in the whole ordeal, I'm doing an independent rear suspension swap on this Mustang. It requires me to remove the quad shock brackets, which I've already done, and install these rear subframe support brackets. And another thing it requires me to do is relocate my caliper bracket. So I've got a pre-bent line off of a car that I have worked on in the past that I intend to modify to work for my system. Now, in my infinite wisdom, I had forgotten to take this line and grab a T-union while I was off dropping that differential out at Quick Performance. Kevin and Carl are on their way to go get a T-union and possibly maybe some more fittings if we need them. I'm kind of flustered right now because things haven't been going the best, but it is what it is. I have found in my time of doing this that if you get flustered and are at a point where you're freaking out, worried out about things, or worrying about things, take a step back, take a breather, and do some quick cleaning and organizing. It sometimes will make your mind clear and your whole day go better from that point. How much of it works for you, I don't know, but that is the one thing that I know that works for me. We've got the subframe brackets loosely bolted into the back of the car. It's one of those, when we put this in, we're going to put the front end in, leave those loose and line them up with this. It's kind of be a bit of a pain. While Kevin and Carl are still out there getting some parts, I'm going to come over here and prepare this IRS cradle to go in the car. The guys over at Quick Performance are still out there working on the carrier for us and everything, getting that prepped and good to go. So I can't put the crossbar in yet, but what I can do is unbolt these parking brake cables because my car's parking brake cables will be reused, thankfully, because they are not fun to rerun.
Do you guys know any good ghost stories?
What did the ghost say to the other ghost?
Oh. I'm sorry I asked. The worst part is how hard Jesse laughed. As you can see, we have everything out from under the car. We've ran up some new brake lines here because there are no specific pre-bent brake line kits for this swap. That's okay, we can make our own. Everything's looking really nice. This car is actually incredibly clean underneath, especially for an Iowa gravel car. We got a couple brackets mopped up in here, make sure everything's gonna fit. And according to Wyatt, it is time to put our cradle in. So let's make that happen. You guys ready?
I am ready.
All right.
This is
Operation Carl.
Okay, let's see if I got it. Let go.
You got it?
Yeah, let go.
It's a moose!
This is why we got Carl.
Watch your.
Oh, the pen pack.
Thanks, Ben Pack. Actually, you could go higher, to be honest. Yeah.
Come on, Moose.
Don't worry, I'll just crunch down. You should just lift the car up, Ben Pack.
Is it not on the outside? Right, Wyatt?
Yeah, not on the outside of the car.
Is that good, Carl?
I'll just drop it if it gets too heavy.
Mine's through. Yours through.
Mostly. Yep, we're good. There we go. It's installed. Let's go for a drive.
I'm missing.
That was completely unnecessary, but it was it was really fun to watch.
Hurt my shoulders a little bit. But it's fine.
Not gonna lie. All right, we're gonna fight these uppers in. They look like they're gonna be a grand old time. We'll be back on this done.
Well, with some shenanigans, we got the cradle in the car. This is actually a monumental moment. I am excited to say it is done. Now, waiting on the guys at Quick Performance to get us the differential over here, which hopefully shouldn't be much longer. In the meantime, I think we're going to go to one of our other sponsors, because I'm excited for these.
All right, our IRS is in, which means it's time to bolt on some of the first aftermarket parts for this car.
Amazing!
The big, the bad, the beautiful QA1 double adjustable coilovers. Here are your very thorough instructions for installation. Any more documentation's online. It's pretty straightforward though. The QA1 shocks come in a range all the way from a stock replacement to a double adjustable. And I'm going to say what suspension companies do not say. You don't have to buy an entire assembly for your car to handle well. You don't need the fancy ball joints. You don't need trailing arms and all the tubular chassis. You need this. This is 80% of your handling is in your shocks. The rest is supporting mods to make everything stronger, clear more tires, have a better appearance, and have more adjustability.
This car was completely overbuilt for completely doing nothing but driving back and forth to work, and we're doing it again because awesome.
No, this will be, but it'll also be doing some cornering next summer.
I do intend to autocross and possibly road track the car, and it was one thing I described to them, and I fully intend on going up to Minnesota and hanging out with these guys.
If you guys are in the area, follow QA1 on their social medias, their Go Drive It page, and all their Facebook pages for QA1 Motorsports and whatnot. They host 3 meets a year at their facility with tours. You can tour the facility when it's making parts, and then go on a 100-mile cruise afterwards. We do it every time. It's a blast. So let's get these suckers set up, get them on the car.
Yes.
Before we put that in, I need you to understand something and how much is changing when you move these knobs so that you get a feel of how to tune this when it's in your car. Now, obviously we can't provide nearly the amount of forces that a car is going to exert on this, but is your compression all the way down right now?
They all seem to be down.
This is why we run adjustable shocks. And it doesn't need to be the double, it can be the single. They're actually a little easier if you ask me. You don't have to think about if your rebound needs adjusted, you just turn it up because it's all at once. But these have more adjustability. Compress that with your hand.
That, good and smooth.
Now, change your shock settings by moving that 3 clicks. And just like that, move it with your hand again.
Ooh.
Boom, whole new temperament to the car. That fast. You just went from riding like a 70s A body to riding like a Fox body. Or
Like a
sorry,
Fox body?
a Mustang.
Riding like a Cobra.
But that is a quick demonstration of how drastic and fast it is to change your shock settings with a double adjustable. Crawl into the car, go click, 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 hit the road track. Get out of the car, go click, 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 hit the road. Now we should mention, what we're doing here today is kind of experimental. They don't make a shock for this. We've called up their tech line, told them what we're doing, told them measurements and stuff, and they went,
We'll try it.
this might work. So we were like, yeah, really want to run this. And they're like, well, there's a couple things we're concerned about. And we're like, I think it'll maybe be all right. So we're all learning. If anyone is looking to do this exact swap, we use the DD702. Probably just call up to QN1 and say we want the Donkaholics Plus special. Call up, ask, hey, Junkyard Digs did a thing where they put this in a car. Can you give me their shock specs and the same shocks?
And from what I'm understanding, this is for a 99 to 04 Cobra Mustang or a IRS swap in a 79 to 04 Mustang or Fox chassis.
Yeah, without further ado, let's get these things in the car and make a difference on the rear end of this thing.
Can I sit and look at them more, Kevin? Big bomb.
You've returned
Yeah.
with the fun bucket.
It is a fun bucket. So, I'm going to preface this. I want to thank Ashton specifically at Quick Performance. He stayed late on a Saturday night with his girlfriend sitting there. This is something you don't get anywhere. You will basically get the read between the lines from other companies and say, no, you have to wait till normal business hours.
These guys are lifesavers for us time and time again. I think they know at this point. They're like, Junkyard Digs called. Did you get the weekend open? So yeah, what do you say we put that sucker in, finally?
Works for me.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Because it's like 10. Oh, thank you, Ashton. Quick Performance, and everyone that's got us this far. This has been an absolute shit show, but what do we expect?
Yeah.
We now know. We'll teach you guys about backlash and stuff and how to look for it, but your best option is have someone else do it. Even Ashton said, he's like, that sucked.
Yeah, these are not a simple carrier to do it on. They're not a 9-inch where you can just unbolt the pinion housing, pull it off, and like reshim it. You have to set your pinion, set your carrier in, adjust them together. One's not happy, you have to pull the carrier completely out, pull the pinion out. It's not fun.
Thank you, Ashton. Thank you for your performance. We'll be back in the morning to get the thing in.
Yes.
Ooh. What do you got there, Wyatt?
This is a power stop rear brake rotor, specifically the passenger rear side.
Even labeled.
Yep, but drilled slotted rotors are typically oriented on a specific side due to the venting in here.
I've never owned a set. I didn't know this.
Yep, that's something you got to watch for when you put them on.
So these are power stops, like we said. They are from Summit Racing. They are some of my absolute favorite brand of brakes. They're very, very, very affordable, and I've had nothing but great luck, and I've been running exclusively power stops for like 5-6 years now.
They come with brake pads, rotors, rubber isolators to put on your caliper brackets, or the slide pins in your caliper brackets. And it all comes as a simple kit. You click a button, put it in your cart, ship it to your door. You can get it from Mustang Cobras or Mustang GTs of this generation. They are different.
So yeah, power stop's a great brand, and what better place to get them than the best place to get them from Summit Racing. So we're gonna go ahead and rip this rusty old crap off of here, get those things ready to go, and bolt them on.
Yeah!
God damn. We need to clean that center cap.
But it hides behind the wheels. You'll never see it.
So, time for new pads. Obviously, replace our rotors. We have to replace our pads. We're going with the Power Stop Extreme Series that came with our kit. And this brings up something we need to talk about. A lot of people will disagree with me on this. The manufacturer themselves does not, so everyone that disagrees can heck off.
Heckers. And this is something I preach all the time too.
Break-in procedures.
You have to break these brakes in.
It's a thing. I don't care what you say. People tell me, they're like, I just put my brakes on and drive.
That's terrifying.
Okay, eventually they will kind of break themselves in, but that first 30 miles, you're not going to have all your stopping power.
No.
And that's probably where you're going to have trouble. Now, Power Stop puts these on their boxes. It's the first thing you see when you open the box. The pads are under this flap. Generally, what you're going to do is bring it up to 40 mile an hour, do 5 aggressive decelerations to 10. And then you're gonna wait now 60 seconds or more and let the brakes cool and do it again and again and again until you have 5 repetitions done of the 40 to 10. Give her a few minutes, drive around, let those brakes cool. Then you're gonna do it again. 5 repetitions of 35 to 5 under heavy braking. And then drive around for 5 minutes, let your car cool down, and your brakes will be embedded properly. The material transfer between the metal rotor and the ceramic or whatever material these are, brake pads, will be complete, and they'll be ready to run.
Yes.
Now, you will literally feel a difference between the first 3 or 4 times you hit that pedal to when you're done.
And you'll smell it too. It's gonna smell terrible.
You're gonna be cooking brakes. You will feel The first time you hit that pedal, it's like you're on ice. You're just gonna keep going, especially with higher performance brakes. They get worse and worse because they're harder and harder. You're gonna just cruise right on past that braking point and take 3 times as long to slow down. The second time it'll be shorter. The third you'll be getting towards your normal stopping distance. And by the time you're done with your braking, you will have excellent brakes.
Manufacturers don't lie.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
All done. And I buffed out a scratch in the meantime. Woohoo!
So you have started a process that needs done because
Yeah, make sure you finish waxing the car.
no, it's gonna need more than a wax.
Yeah, buff. Sorry, cut and buff.
Yeah, because this thing is not black; it's an oxidized shade of blue because sadness.
I mean, she's a driver. I mean, look, the freaking light is full of sand from living on gravel.
If any of y'all have a spare set of this specific depot headlight and turn signal assemblies laying around, let me know. They discontinued them in 2015, and I can't find replacements.
Brakes are done up front. Let's move on to the back.
All right, so remember how we said this is an experimental setup? We had to do a little bit of customization. We added a spacer down there to give us space between the lower and the shock body. And we had to bend some stuff out up here just a little bit.
Yep.
It's always a good idea to travel your shocks fully. You can take all the spring pressure off, move everything up and down, make sure everything clears, and that's how we found out we need a little clearance in. But beyond that, everything seems to bolt right up. So let's see if it holds the weight of the car when we get it all together. People have done this, just QA1 hasn't. I don't.
Yeah,
so,
QA1 has not done it. This is a new thing for them. They flat out admit it to me. So
this is how everyone else does it, though, right?
yes, they mount straight to this mount here, and to the top of the shock mount.
And that holds all the way to the car.
That holds all the way to the car.
Problem is, usually this point doesn't hold all the way to the car, just pressure from driving, and it's weaker than over here where your springs are sitting, designed to hold the weight of the car.
And I fully intend on putting a shock tower brace in this car at some point in time. So this is nothing that
There's some temporary stuff we're doing for this weekend.
Yes, this is stuff I know I have to go through and correct in the future.
Yeah, it looks absolutely incredible in there. Let's get it bolted up.
All right, Wyatt, the last piece of tech tip. We've already talked about backlash and pinion depth and everything in the beginning, so we didn't have to cover it now because we were figuring we might not be able to put this together ourselves, which we were right.
But Quick Performance has got it together. They've got the paint on it, and they've got our contact pattern. Why is that important?
That will tell you your pinion depth and end play or lash is good and within a specification that works for the axle. Certain contact patterns will show if your pinion depth is too deep, certain patterns will show if it's too shallow, or if your pinion, or not your pinion, but your ring gear is too close to your pinion or too far away. Ashton set up a really good pattern over here.
I think it's beautiful. Smooth edges on each end, no points, and they're all centered, and they look even on either side. So.
Yep, that is what you want to see. So
The Yukon book that came with those axles has like 30 examples of patterns, both good and bad. So we lost ours.
yeah, we lost ours because I gave it to Ashton when he put it together. I didn't figure he needed it, but it's just one of those things.
You guys will have a book that comes with the gears if you do this yourself. Otherwise, just have a shop do it. We found that's the easiest way.
So you know how I lifted the cradle off of the differential with the forklift? We're going to drop the car onto the differential with the lift.
Seems like the slower, easier way.
I was thinking just putting it up in there.
Oh, hey, John's here, by the way.
Hello.
Oh, I want to congratulate John, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He got a job as a police officer.
I did.
Congratulations, John.
I'm at Academy now. It's great. It's awesome. I'm paid to say that. I'm just kidding.
This is heavy. Like my thoughts after a night of drinking.
Still lighter than the third members for a 9-inch, so that is one advantage.
Kevin
to
is
these.
just trying to push for that quick performance 9-inch.
It's just so much better.
Let's try that. That ticklish. Finally it's in. Let's get these thing filled up and put some axles in this thing.
Oh yeah, get wheels back on the car.
Yes. Watch yourself, Kevin. I'm gonna bring this across.
Hello. You come here often?
You guys are doing a good job. I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
You don't get this done today, release the shop.
Yeah.
Put it in there, Wyatt. You can do it.
I do.
Thanks for the emotional
Oh, that's
support.
gonna go backwards.
Emotional damage.
If you can't tell, we evolved to chaos of getting this done in time.
Everything is looking good and shiny and junkyard swappy. I am loving it.
My favorite part is going to be when I get the exhaust on, get this thing sat on the ground, we get those giant tires, the exhaust coming out of it. But it's going to look beautiful from the rear.
Let's make it happen.
Open stuff?
Yeah, you know.
All right.
I know this is the part you've been looking forward to
Yeah, I like exhaust.
all weekend.
Band clamps. with hardware enclosed.
Man, this is a full kit.
It's a full kit. It is part number 140052. This one is no bender needed, bolt in, make noise. Looks like you got a tailpipe section with exhaust tips.
Look at those tips.
That's a really nice looking product. Nice welds.
That thing is beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Orla S type. Look at that.
I've actually never purchased a catback before. I've always pieced them together and wished I did this.
Same here.
This is such a nicer bolt together, no leaks. Probably gonna fit real nice up to the IRS.
I usually just get like 3 sticks and a welder and cuss myself for like 2 hours and burn my hands.
Yeah.
They don't make exhaust for the stuff I work on.
That's right, because you have a bender.
No, not for mandrel bending.
Not for mandrel bending?
Yeah, no, I usually just do 45s.
Let's see if I fit. Oh, God.
You're gonna fall down.
If we could return me. Yeah, return it.
Return to sender.
Hey, there's something in here. It's making a weird noise.
It's making a weird noise.
Camaros are better than Mustangs. Camaros are better than Mustangs.
It's a hell of a box.
Thanks, Borla, for the quality box. 1, 2, 3, 4.
On in a box.
John,
What?
you think that'll work good as a sled?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Drag me.
Oh, God. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Wait, is this actually working?
Yeah!
I'm chilly.
Golden Rust and Bus, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you need to check out his channel. The last step.
Watch your hands.
Yeah.
Well, the second last step. I got to put brakes on yet, but.
The second to last step. This is the fastest exhaust system I've ever done in my life. I'm starting to see why people do this. You know,
Pre-bent
buy-
kits are amazing.
Yeah, this is amazing.
God damn.
Alright, final steps. Get these bolted down, see how it all looks. Might need a little D-germ in here, but...
D-germ?
Here. You can get it good. I would tell you guys to go buy that, but they discontinued it and we bought it all. Sorry.
No, it sits perfect. I am so gonna have to get narrower wheels.
That looks really badass.
Oh my god.
Wow.
This thing is slammed.
You guys wanna lose your eardrums?
That's good.
You might want to do this.
Ready? No problem. That's what I got. Do it again. Do it again. Alright. Thank you, Summit. Thank you, QA1. Thank you, Quick Performance. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, John.
Hey.
Thank you, everyone.
That sounds good.
I just drank beer.
That actually sounds a lot throatier than what it
That
does.
sounds great.
I didn't think it sounded that much different. It's
Neither did
way
I.
deeper.
The
That's
piping,
way-
piping makes a big difference.
This is a
Way it
this is a
goes,
larger diameter pipe.
and it also different way.
My eyes burn.
It runs rich.
Yeah, it does. It was blowing black.
I know.
I can smell colors.
We got a little bit of adjustments to do on our coilovers yet, but then we'll be done and ready to pull this off the lift. Let's make it happen.
Let's burn it.
Yeah, that was rich. All right, there it is. Our spring heights are set. Everything is finished underneath this car. There's about 96 feet of snow outside, and you have some very rigorous break-in procedures for both the brakes and the rear gears. There's not going to be any driving it in this episode, but we will be returning with this car next summer at the Street Machine Summer Nationals. This is going to be running on the autocross. So if you want to see us and Wyatt in this car, come up to Minnesota and see us at the show at the QA1 booth. With that being said, let's pull this thing out of here and see how we did as far as like what it looks like sitting just over there. Yeah. Like Wyatt said, huge thank you to Quick Performance, QA1, and Summit Racing for making his car badass. Thank you for bringing your car. Thank you for letting us film it. We'll see you guys right here next week for another episode of Junkyard Digs. Peace.
Support those who support Junkyard Digs and show them the power of our fan base by using the special links in the description below.